What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lead From Here podcast. I am Jason. Today, we are talking about, leader's job. This is a very cringe-worthy topic. Well, actually, just the title, because a leader's job is never done. It is extremely cringe-worthy. I get it. People will hear that and people use that, and it's very, very cliche. But at the end of the day, it truly never is. So, if it's never done, how do you do it? And we've talked about to-do lists and how you balance out all of the different things that are happening in your life as a leader. So what is your, so I really want to get tactical. What is your main job as a leader? Your main job as a leader is to be a shield, so you're blocking things, and a sieve. And that may sound very contradictory, as it, two very different things. But ultimately, it's important to understand the context of the situation. So it's important to shield your team from, terrible context, ambiguity, toxicity, blame. Basically, you should, if it's negative and it's going to hurt your team, you should be keeping that from them. Not necessarily like pretending like it's not a thing, but at the same time, they don't need to know about it. They really don't need, there's nothing they need to know about in a situation where execs are frustrated or customers really upset. Like, find a way to communicate that without making them feel bad about it. Find it as a way to motivate. Of like, hey, we're going to fix this ticket. And if we do that, it'll really help this customer feel less pain for blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reason it is. It's important to make sure that you're doing that. Now, okay, so that's the shield part. That's the blocking and making sure that they're not taking blame. Like, you're the leader. It's your job. Your job is to stand in front of the team, take the heat. Yes, I failed. I failed as a leader, failed to help us drive to success. Now, obviously there are realities. If somebody on your team is consistently failing and letting the team down, then there's other things that have to happen, right? There's HR conversations, there's coaching, performance improvement plans if it gets that bad. There's a lot of different options for what you need to do in that situation, but ultimately, it's up to you to know that. It's not up to you to necessarily throw that out in a meeting where everybody's like, this team missed, and you're like, oh, well, Joe blew it. He was terrible. He didn't even do it. And you know what? This is the third time this happened with Joe. Not the time. It is your job as a leader, because that one makes you look terrible as a person and even worse as a leader. Two, you need to handle that. Because if you don't handle it, you're going to keep failing. So deal with that internally with your leadership, your direct leader and your direct report. Figure it out, talk to HR, get it sorted out. But it's not a big meeting conversation. That is a very localized group of conversations. So that's the shield. That's the, hey, blocking the team, protecting the team. What is the sieve? What does that look like? So a sieve is, if you don't know, it's the thing that people put basically liquids in that have stuff in it, and it keeps that stuff from going through and the liquid passes through. That's kind of what you need to be as a leader for things like praise and credit and positive news and good context and things that are very important to making a team successful and making people feel good about the things they're doing. So being able to say, hey, the team did a great freaking job on this when you're in a meeting. So when you're in a meeting, So when you're in a meeting, let's say for example, and the CEO of the company's like, hey, this project was absolutely fantastic. We just closed the deal because of it. The team crushed it. Or you say, Jason, or they would say, Jason, your team crushed it. You would be like, hey, yeah, the team did a fantastic job. Very proud of them. Like, they worked their butts off. Not, hey, I did a great job in driving the team. That's, again, not the opportunity. Your opportunity as a leader to show that you're successful is to show that your team's successful. That doesn't mean they're always going to get it right. That doesn't mean they're never going to fail. But over time, as long as you're mostly successful, you will find success as a leader, because that's your new benchmark. Your benchmark is not about like the things that you get called out for individually. Sure, there's opportunities for that outside the team, especially as you get higher in the organization and you're dealing with more strategic goals. But right now, your goal is to make your team look like badasses every single day, every single opportunity. And if there's somebody that's not being a badass, then you deal with that individually. You deal with that quietly, not quiet. Quietly is not the right word. It's not, you're not trying to hide anything, but at the same time, like, you're also not trying to broadcast it out. You're dealing with that individually, internally, working with your boss and HR to figure out, like, how do we coach this person? How do we move this person out if they're not effective and need to go on a performance improvement plan? How do we, if we need to fire this person, how do we fire this person? A lot of opportunity there within that sphere. Hopefully you're doing a lot of coaching before you even think about firing somebody. But ultimately, that's where that happens, is in the small group, one-on-one with your person that's failing, and probably maybe bringing in your boss and definitely HR. So that's the difference between the shield and the sieve. That went a lot longer than I thought it would, to be honest. But ultimately, it's really important. It's really important for you to shield the team from the painful stuff and be a sieve and let the team feel the good things. And as long as you're doing that, you're doing a fantastic job as a leader. So just keep trying to be that person for your team, their ultimate hype man and their ultimate protector. Those are the two things. Do that, you got it. Hope this was helpful. Jason@leadfromhere.co if you have any questions or want me to dive into anything specific. Otherwise, take care.